This conference will now be recorded.
She's not talking, but it says recording in progress.
Okay, Cottage Grove Town Board will hold a public meeting beginning at 7 p.m. on Monday, August 16th, 2021 at the Town Hall, 4058 County Road N. You can also join the meeting by going to Go To Meeting. Meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. We have a quorum present. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the flag pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You have the minutes of our last meeting, August 2nd, in your packet.
I'll move approval as presented. Second.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
Abstentions. Motion carried. Finance report and approval of bills.
What was the 1900 plus FEMA grant?
That was for some tablet software.
For
Yeah.
fire department for inspections.
Oh, okay.
That was for a new computer.
No,
This virus inspector iPad.
it's an iPad.
It's the software that we pay for, the license agreement for our software for fire record keeping. We have to
Okay.
pay that every year. And then we got the FEMA grant last year, so that paid for it this year. I think that's what you were showing on your invoices, was reimbursement for that.
Move approval of checks 34845 through 34875 be paid.
And you have some that are voided.
Oh, and 34817 through 34821 and 34823 were voids because they got lost in the mail.
Motion by Duplay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Fonger to approve checks 34,845 through 34,875 with checks 34,817 through 34,821 and check 34,823 being voided due to being lost in the mail. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We also have the unaudited cash investment balance of $2,789,657.55. And you have the July building permits.
Move approval as presented for the building permits.
Motion by Anders to approve.
Second.
Second by Duplay. Motion was to approve the July building permits as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Motion carried.
The per diems, if possible, by the 27th. Is there any meeting?
We have going to have a meeting on the 30th.
Yeah, So the 27th, unless you have a 31st meeting. Well,
Or do you want them that night? Or,
they'd need to be approved that night. So it's really a September meeting, wouldn't it be?
normally it would be.
Yeah, so would we want to include that on your per diems?
Yeah, it would still be on the August.
Would you want on your August?
Seeing how we had it
Yeah.
in August.
It's August, yeah.
Oh,
So if we turn them into you that night,
mhm, that'd be fine.
okay.
What, are you gonna approve them at the next meeting, or what are you gonna do?
Depends on how fast she gets them done.
Well,
she should have done
He's good.
Or
I
3
would
weeks.
think you'd wanna just push that per diem to pay it with the next month, because you're approving it at a meeting that
You're at,
you're at.
yeah. So it'd be what, the 20th? September is our next meeting?
Maybe something like that.
The 30th.
Well, why can't you approve it if everybody's here?
If the check's written, so if
Yeah.
if somebody
20th.
isn't here.
Oh.
then-
It would be the 20th of September would be our second
Our
meeting.
normal meeting.
Checks either.
So we'll just do it on the, approve them on the 20th, so we'll turn them in on the 31st.
Well, no, turn in your,
You could, if you do it
per
by the 27th,
just put that meeting to the next month, since it was really a meeting meant for that month anyway. You know,
All right?
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
we'll
with me.
do this
I
month's
guess
meeting
so.
by the
Whichever
27th.
easiest for Deb.
Yeah,
Very political.
okay.
so just turn
I'm
in what
totally
you have through the
confused.
27th, and then that meeting that's on August 30th will be paid with the September per diems.
Okay,
I'll go with whatever I misunderstood. So, okay.
It works for me, no matter what.
that's it.
any new information from CARES?
No. Mm-mm.
How are we doing on setting up that collection?
I sent him another email today. I sent him last week and I didn't hear back from him. So I sent another one today.
Okay,
It's not, I don't know what's going on.
and how are you doing with updating the vendor list?
It's fine. Did you need another one?
No, did you update it?
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so that's done?
Yeah.
Okay, that was all.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you had gotten done with it or not.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on, the next item is public concerns, public's opportunity to speak to the town board about any subject that's not a specific agenda item. Any road right-of-way permits? We have one for Spectrum.
Let's do that second. I have one.
Okay.
Let's do this one first.
Do yours.
Line Energy. This is just a new install electrical service going to a house out on Rathard Road. It's actually, isn't it not a house, a horse barn?
Horse farm.
It's a shelf or a barnuminium or whatever you want to call it, yeah,
Yeah, so they're just coming in under the road.
It's huge.
yeah.
Looks nice.
It does look nice.
It's got living quarters in it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. That's the latest thing,
Yeah.
especially for car guys.
Really?
Yeah, you put a little 2,000 square foot house inside a big pole building and you've got everything else right around you.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I wish I had the spot to do something like that. I would in a second.
There's always land for sale.
Just ask the school.
Yeah, but there's no internet,
Oh,
reasonable internet, let's put
Yeah,
that.
they'll come later.
and then you can go ahead with the second one if you want, or unless you want me to talk about it.
Go ahead.
You want to approve this one and separately, so it's out of the way, or?
Sure.
I'd move approval as presented.
Motion by Anders, second by Duplay to approve the Alliant Energy Road right-of-way permit on Rafford Road. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Right, and then you have the other one in front of you, Charter Spectrum.
Yep.
Kirk Upperman is here. He's the one who got this rolling. He could probably speak better on it, but basically what they're looking to do is put fiber or high-speed internet out into areas that don't have it. Did you include the map?
This is the one that I mentioned at earlier meetings, that RDOF project that Charter got they won the auction or something. I'm not really sure how it worked, but for a whole huge area, and a great good part of it is in that blue area on the back of this map that you have. So they're not going to do the whole thing this week or anything, but he's going to talk to you about that.
I also have Celeste. She's with our government relations department. So if you have
Hi, how are
anything
you?
that's
Yeah.
more related to that side of it, I'm the construction coordinator out of Madison. So I'll be working more locally with all these contract crews. Basically what we're doing, RDOF is a government funded project to bring internet out to the rural areas. And it's going to be about a 2 to 4 year project that we're thinking, because we're not going to do the entire township all at the same time. Charter releases a certain area that we call census, well, the government calls census blocks. So we get those census blocks. I'm asked to extend the fiber out to those areas. And I don't know when the next one will come. It could be weeks, it could be another year. So that's why we're guessing about the 2 to 4 year range. Our first one that we have right now starts down off Femright Drive, Vilas Hope Road, Vilas Road itself. It's, I'd say, more like the southeast corner of the township. Approximately 100 homes within the township in the area that we're doing. It also continues down into the town of Pleasant Springs, a little bit of the city of McFarland and such. So we're looking to get started yet this year. We do need to work out how you want to do the permit fee schedules and stuff. But our intent is, if we can get our Dane County erosion control stuff figured out within the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll actually start. None of the residents will have service yet this year. That will take into next year. We're looking to get some material in the ground or possibly attached to a few poles that Alliant Energy owns in the area. We don't have that kind of information back yet. That's another process that Alliant has to approve. I'll be working alongside Dan. Our biggest concern, as this is going to take a while and go into the winter, is going to be the restoration. We understand that we're to do the restoration as quick as we can, but once we get into those frost times, you can repair it, but in the spring, you're going to be back repairing it again.
Right.
So our intent is to not have Dan get any calls, stay ahead of that, but if he takes a call, we'll be able to take care of this.
Okay. So really the southwestern corner of the township that you're working on down in Pleasant Springs.
We'll be starting that this year. And the next one, we may jump all the way up to the northeast corner up by the town of Deerfield or something. We don't have what I would say a logical path to get all the way through the township yet.
So are you looking for permit for the entire town at once, or do you want to do it in phases?
Our ask would be, if we could, to do it on a yearly basis.
Okay.
That way, our hope is not to bombard Dan with paperwork after paperwork shuffle. If we can do it yearly, he certainly will have maps of where we're going to be working at that time. And let's just say after this year, we go into 2022, I get another area of the township. I would provide a map and say,
New map.
this is where we intend to be, say, May through September or something.
Okay.
And then everything with a hard surface, whether it's asphalt, concrete, of course, the roads, driveways and stuff, those will all be directional board. We're not cutting through anyone's driveway,
Right.
unless it turns into an absolute solid rock situation. We would try to go around to the other side of the road or something. If that did not work, we would approach Dan, ask him what his preference would be, to then talk to the homeowner.
Okay. Questions?
Sounds pretty logical.
It's good to get started.
Motion approved.
Second.
Well,
Are you approving
Yes.
doing it on a yearly
Yes.
basis?
I think you need to consider if you want some kind of a yearly fee, and then also what do you want for security to ensure that the restoration gets done? Do you want, do you want deposit? Do you want bonds, a bond? What do you want to have in place to cover the restoration?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just set a yearly deposit for them? So then, when everything's done, then we release it back to them, and then whenever they want to get another permit
Yeah,
for the following next year, we could just roll it over that same deposit if everything looks good.
yeah. I would think one deposit and you just roll it over every year.
If it works out that
So
way.
you like look at it, like if they're gonna quit working because of weather at some point this fall, is that what would happen? Or will you be trying to work through?
That is actually up to our contractor. If he agrees to continue working at normal rates, typically in construction, once frost hits the ground, you pay a higher rate to that. Charter is offering to let them work through the winter at the same rate, but we have not spoke to the contractor to see if that is their intent.
I'm just wondering what, you need to say when when the rollover happens, like if you're.
Calendar year,
Calendar year? Okay.
That would be great.
calendar year. I think that's easy to remember for everyone.
Okay, so what you're saying is you'd figure out how much you owe us?
No.
How would this work?
Well, one permit,
Yep,
which
one
this
permit.
is $55
Yeah, that'd be their permit.
each year. And then if we want
For the boring I'm talking about.
for the deposit,
Yeah, we have to figure out
So
what we
much.
want.
So they would pay us what they figure it would be for that period of time for this area. And then next year, if they overpaid or underpaid, we would figure that out at the end of the year or what?
the permit would be one fee.
I understand that.
The deposit that we have to decide on would roll over from year to year.
It'll be
Unless-
one fee.
Okay.
unless it's
Set
not-
fee.
One
Unless
amount.
they don't do a good job of
Got it.
restoring it, and we have to
And-
have Dan
And
do
then,
it. Then we use
that
that.
money.
Right.
I say we do it because these outlying areas are ones asking for internet service.
Right.
So, I think that's the least we can do is the deposit deal. I like.
Okay, so
How much of a
that will
deposit?
happen every time they bore then?
No,
No,
one fee for the entire year.
Yeah, they'll pay a
For the application,
So we're not gonna-
one deposit for the entire year.
But-
We're not
Okay,
gonna
we
charge
pay-
them, we're not gonna charge them a per foot boring fee like we
Oh.
normally would.
Really?
That's what's being proposed here
Oh.
anyway.
so that they get it to our residents.
The reason we're asking for the yearly thing, I've estimated it's gonna be about 50 miles total. And to try to get that down to the foot.
Oh, I understand that, yeah.
We think that would take a lot more time for both of our sides to figure out the actual footage on there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so what we're saying is that they're not gonna pay for the boring.
Not by the foot.
Not like we normally would per
Okay.
opening or by the foot. Or
How are they paying for it then?
They're gonna pay for their.
$50, I understand that.
Full permit, and then they're gonna do a deposit. And if we don't like the restoration, when they're all done, then we withhold whatever we feel is necessary
To do the restoration.
to fix everything up.
Is that what you've been doing every other place you've been doing this?
We haven't done anything on this scale, at least in Dane County. When the past, when I worked up in Sauk County, Columbia County areas, that's what it was township wise. It was just a yearly fee. The board set what they felt was appropriate. And we've always taken care of our restoration, but we understand that it could be 6 months after the fact. We may have left town and 6 months later, something sinks.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason, we weren't able to come back and do it within a timely manner, then we understand that the deposit would be taken.
Yeah. So I think the real question is, how much do we want for a deposit? Did you get deposits from these other townships in Columbia and Sauk?
I've done that way in the past. It's completely random. Again, just because of the quantity of footage that we're going to be putting in. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to put a random number out there because that's what it would be. It would just be a random number. In the past, the townships have always had a process.
What did he say? You said 50 miles?
about that.
So does that help you at all?
So, yeah, we have a,
Well, that's,
I mean, as far as a deposit, how much could it, how much restoration?
we're
could
gonna
it-
plow a majority of it.
Our intent, yes.
Some of it's gonna be overhead. 1,320 feet of it, we usually charge approximately $110 for 1,000 feet.
That's the boring
That's
charge,
that's the
the
plowing,
plowing charge.
the
But
trenching, yeah. Yeah, $45 per boring or trench or plow.
So, but I mean,
We
for,
could do it 3 different ways the way our thing says, but I mean, to figure out 50 miles,
I'm thinking more of like, how much expense could you get into if you had to restore 50 miles? And, or, you know, what's reasonable to think that, you know,
That's good.
restoration could
that's
cost.
where I need to know all the openings, all the peds,
Yeah.
all the ped locations, all the.
I mean, I just didn't know if somebody can make a ballpark something.
I was thinking $5,000. That's a lot of individual spaces that if you don't take care of it, Dan and his crew will have to go back.
We charged them, we looked at every opening for them, but we didn't, and then we had,
Not like 8,
I don't think we did a deposit with them.
we can do a fee.
Mhm.
Could you do 5 for the first year and then reassess after the second? I mean, he's gonna have to come back here
we could,
next year, right?
yeah.
Is that fair? Would that be appropriate?
So that would roll over.
Well, what she was suggesting is 5,000 first year. Second year, we review and see if the 5,000 was too much or not enough. If they've done an excellent job of restoration and we don't have any problem, you might lower it to
Might still
2 or
be the
3.
$5,000. Yeah. They wouldn't have been used. Yeah.
Right.
That
Does that sound logical?
To review, and then
Yep.
if it's less than,
Yep.
yeah, lower it. That way we have something, and that's,
And then would you want that in the form of a bond, or would you just want the physical payment?
Physical payment. And have you had any problem with them in the past doing any restoration work?
No, I mean, now a charter, now who they've used, I don't remember any troubles.
Spectrum.
With Spectrum, sorry. No, not that I remember.
Who does your boring?
In this situation, the main contractor's out of Illinois, and at this time, we don't know if he'll have any local subcontractors. So we'll just have one main contractor that's called Leadcore. They're on McHenry, Illinois. They may keep everything in-house, but at this time, it's too early to tell. Again, it's how much work we can get them this year for how many people will show up before winter.
Okay. Someone want to make a motion?
I did,
Yeah, I made the motion. That was for,
$55 a year, $5,000 deposit for the first year to
I will
be
add that on to be discussed, reviewed at the end of the year. Fiscal year,
for the start of the second
Yes.
year.
reviewed
second,
at the end of the fiscal year.
Motion by Fonger, second by Williams. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions, though?
Oh, God, no.
If you do, Dan and Kim both have all my contact, they have my contact information. And we can certainly,
we can go by my house.
what street?
Highway N.
Can't swear what year it'll be. My hope is it's within the next year or two that we just get this taken care of. So,
Okay,
thank you, everybody.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good night. Yep.
You're in it, folks, at least this time.
Next item is to review July police activities. Hello, Kristen.
So I didn't get my print off before I came today. Somehow I got lost in the loop. So
It just came at like 6:45.
I emailed him and I was on a call before I came. Do you mind if I peek real fast?
It just came about 5:45.
Oh, that makes me feel better. I pulled up. Kind of what I expected anyways. Still, you know, the majority of our calls are related to traffic, mainly speeding. Yeah. Still pretty far up there. We have a little bit here and there of other things, but like I said, the majority is it's all traffic related. We've been trying to divide up our time a little bit. Between the main, the roads with the main complaints, but yet we still have to make sure we get,
Cover everything.
exactly. We try to still get over to the more eastern side because the majority of the complaints tend to be
Right.
over on the western side. So a little bit of juggling and a little bit here and there and presence, pulling people over, but that's basically been what we've been up to for the most part. I know I got an email right when I got in today, something about new beat phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I was supposed to have, so essentially,
that's the next item on the agenda.
oh, am I skipping ahead for you guys?
Yeah.
Take this if you want.
So essentially, yours printed out nicely, mine did not. We agreed that the cheapest iPhone SE is fine. It'll get the job done, color's irrelevant. I think this was the one I printed off, just what it was
Okay.
to match with that. I'll set that for you.
Okay.
But essentially, iPhone should work fine. We all are familiar with them. We all know how to operate them just fine. And the basic, we don't need some huge amount of storage, so the basic should be absolutely fine. Any questions?
And Brian's back.
He is, and he's doing good. He and Boone have been running around. Everything's been working out great. It's nice to have a third round again.
Yes.
So yeah, he's back and doing great. And he's happy to be back. I think he was ready.
Good.
So yes.
Question though.
Yes.
Is BB gonna be open like tomorrow?
So I was told, this is just what I've been told, so I haven't gotten a current briefing. So again, I'm not speaking on fact that I know for sure. I was told by the time school opened. School
How are they
started.
gonna handle that with the school dedication coming up?
Okay, so what Jen kind of briefed me on today, again, this is like a briefing, not fact, so I can't tell you this is where I got it from and my sources and all of that. I was told that when it should be opening, hopefully tomorrow, but that it will be stop signs instead of lights because they don't have the lights in yet.
Yeah.
And that's basically all I've gotten for info, so I think we'll just kind of brace for the increase in traffic and hopefully it'll go smoother than what our worst fear would be,
Well, the car's been going through there and there's been nobody checking them at all. I mean, I live right there and it's just like a freight train all weekend, and today
Again,
it was ridiculous. I mean, just going right around in the ditch, past the barriers,
of course.
and nobody seems to be out there doing anything about it anymore, so.
I know Jen mentioned something about it today.
Yeah, I
So
mean, if
I'm
it's
not-
over, it's over. I mean, it's not,
Yeah, well, true. I mean, I'm not sure where, I'm assuming she loves to sit there. So I think I mean, I'd be lying if I said she didn't like that spot. So she might have been there today. I'm not really sure what she had for calls or where she sat.
nobody out there.
But I can always pop down there tonight too. Before this, I was on a call, so I haven't done any traffic at all today. But I have no problem popping down there if there's problems again, or if it's
Well,
increasing.
it's just been ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
so-
It's not an issue.
Just crazy what people will do
Mhm.
to save 5
You
minutes.
said it, not me.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Steve went through there today. Just-
Yeah, no, I
Can
didn't.
I do it?
I, honest to gosh, I
I
haven't
just
even walked
kidding,
down there.
God.
I haven't even walked down there to see what it looks like.
You guys are gonna be the death of that.
Well, Dan, have you been down there?
Yep, couple times.
How is our access to the cemetery?
Good. No, I talked to, it's good. They gotta put the dirt in there. But yeah, it's like a gravel mixed with blacktop right now.
Okay.
I told them just to cover that with dirt and seed it. because that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's all gravel based because they put a new culvert in, completely filled that in with sand and gravel. And then, yeah, they had like a hard surface over it. And I said, because it was real rough, and I said, just cover that in dirt. And because actually Wade was up there. I talked to Wade Friday.
So we'll have as good of access as we had before.
Yeah, not shorter, but yeah, it's good.
Just wondering.
Yep.
Okay,
Any others?
I guess not. So now we'll go to discuss and consider approval of cell phone upgrade for the town deputy.
Wait, oh,
So is it the iOS 13 that they're after?
No, iOS 13, that's the operating system.
We are after,
iPhone SE second generation.
The 399 one?
I think that's.
mm,
That was
That's the one.
Yeah, 64
Yeah.
gigabyte.
yes,
That's $399.
yeah, that's the one she had.
No accessory in box?
That's the one that you said would work. So I'll move approval. This one.
Okay. Motion by Williams, second by Fonger to approve the iPhone SE second generation 64 gigabyte iPhone for $399.
You probably need a case for it though too, right?
That would definitely be wise.
Otterbox
Yeah.
case for it too, that'll add, I don't have prices on those.
About $50 for a decent, for an OtterBox.
I think that's a fair.
Actually, if you get them on Amazon, they're about 20.
Well, all depends what you buy though. If you get something that's,
I got this one on Amazon for 20.
Otterbox though, the kind that they get, the
shock protection.
2-year kind and everything.
Are you approving an
Yeah.
OtterBox for it
I do.
also
It includes the case.
with the
that-
OtterBox case?
it comes with a charger cord, I imagine, correct?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, yes.
It says no accessories, that's what I was.
That means we'll dig one up somewhere. We probably all got a drawer full of them if
I
we've ever had enough.
think I got 6 or 7 at home.
If you have iPhones now, you can just use the same cord.
Yeah, it'll come with one. Usually the general accessories is not gonna come with, it should actually probably even come with a set of headphones that are typical to. for
I don't know,
phones.
this one says no accessories in box, so I don't know what. that
I'll bring
means.
one of my from home.
I would think a cord is an accessory, though. I wouldn't. think it's
They
an
said it
accessory.
doesn't matter. Lots of times when I tell them what color we want, they tell them they don't have us that one anyway, so I'll
Take
just
whatever's available.
probably just go with whatever's available, yeah.
Okay. There was a motion and a second. Everyone understand the motion?
Yep.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moving on, discuss, consider approval of purchase agreement with Reliant Fire Apparatus Incorporated for Kenworth T880 pumper tanker for delivery in 2022.
I take it the village didn't offer to step up to the plate?
No, and it's not on their agenda for tonight either.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, give me this. Oh, so they just not even gonna let us know one way or another, huh? That's a
I
little
doubt
unique, I would say.
Until we have fire meeting end of September, they'll probably tell us no then.
But we're supposedly having to purchase this thing before the end of the month.
Well, we have to sign the agreement to purchase it for the $461,397 by the 31st to ensure that price without any price increases. Correct?
That's correct.
So we would sell tanker 1, keep tanker 2 to reserve, and this one would be on the line. And any idea when in 22 it would be delivered? Would it be late?
It'd be late. They're about 12 months out. 12 to 13 months, so
By September of
September,
22.
October, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So we don't pay anything till then,
Yeah,
is that correct?
cash on delivery, yep.
Yeah.
I don't know, to me, it seems like it's a good deal. We're gonna have to get it anyway.
I agree. We have to get it.
And if we can save, the $20,000 to $50,000 a month, save it. Total. I mean, total,
Yeah.
but whatever.
It's substantial.
I appreciate the research that Nick has done to get this information to us. And I appreciate the volunteers. So I would move approval.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. I want to ask some questions,
I'll
but
second.
Motion by Williams, second by Anders to approve the purchase of the Reliant T880 pumper tanker for delivery in 2022. Discussion.
yeah, just how many, over last year, how many times would you have used this piece of equipment on a long driveway or whatever? Just a guesstimate. How many times would this have affected fighting a fire?
The last one we would have used it on was BB at the Pinto Palace. That's one of the driveways we would have set up this way. That was less than a year ago. What was the other? When was the last time we had another structure fire in the town? Probably a year before that out on MN. That would be Scores Farm, the house that burned down.
West of the Scores.
Yeah, when the house burned down.
We would probably set it up that way there as well. I mean,
We used, when we set it up, we would have used it out in the Nundle Heights neighborhood.
When was that?
2018.
18 or 19.
Yeah.
That's, we would have set it up exactly this way in that neighborhood.
That was this year.
No, that was probably 2 years ago.
2019 is when that one was as well.
So you'd have used this 3 times in 3 years then?
Pretty much any structure fire we would have had in the town, we probably would have used it this way. There, luckily, knock on wood, hasn't been a lot of structure fires in the town. So, but some of our mutual aid situations that could have been used that way in mutual aid too. We go to Deerfield a lot for a tender. Town of Sun Prairie, Bristol, not really Bristol, Town of Sun Prairie, Marshall, Cambridge. I mean, we go pretty much all over with tenders. Anytime there's a structure fire in the county that's rural, we're usually going with a tender.
But you'd set this up now and then they'd bring in water into this thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
We train this way too. So anytime we have any possible structure fire, we'll pull out with our first due engine and we pull out with a tender
Then you fill
immediately
that?
after. So no matter what, anything that's a possible structure fire, we're rolling our apparatus that way. So this is how we were always practicing, no matter what. We're rolling that way in the event we have a structure fire. So we're always prepared. So if it's a possible structure fire, that truck's always going to be rolling after our engine.
We used it for that semi-fire on this Tuesday too. We had a semi-fire in February. It was a semi-truck full of paper. We used probably 30,000 gallons of water out there. So we would have set it up that way as well.
So when you say we've only used it 3 times, that's not an accurate statement. We use it quite often. It rolls quite often. It's very common that tender will roll out that door. It's actually pretty frequent that tender rolls out the door.
Yeah, we just used it last week on Pheasant Run. There's a lightning strike there that ended up not being a house fire luckily, but that was 700, went back and measured, it was 750 feet in. Because the closest hydrant is actually on the other side of the trees off of the corner in the village.
Yeah.
So if that house actually would have been on fire, we would have actively used that tender. We rolled it in the event that house would have.
And you said the hydrant was how far away?
It's 250 feet from the corner of Damascus and Pheasant Run to come to the wood line. And it would have been another 300 feet to roll the hose through the woods to get to it. So it was a little bit shorter going that way.
but the way we set it up is basically because the hydrant loop is on the
Those rooms.
village sides to the east of Sandpiper. So we would have set that truck up, put the tank right there, and they could have done a continuous loop, and we'd had to run 750 feet up, but it could have pumped it. This truck could pump it that far.
Yeah, I think what they're saying, because it's like a booster pump, right, on that truck?
Yeah,
On
the
the
current,
So like that would, it's bigger than the current one, right?
current one's like a trash pump, like a
So,
300
yeah.
gallon gas.
So it'd be able to hold a longer distance is what they're
So
saying.
this gets rid of the issue with having a hydrant long ways away also.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, can I ask, does the fact that that road doesn't go straight through, was that a factor in dealing with the fire you were called to?
Absolutely. Yep, it would have been, we would have used the hydrant if we could have,
Yeah, because you had the tankers. You'd have used, if the hydrant wouldn't have been there, you'd use the tankers anyway.
We'd
How
still
do you
use
say it absolutely would have affected it?
Correct.
Well, I mean, you said it absolutely affected.
It makes it more complicated.
Okay,
It
well,
creates a complication for us.
Yeah.
You would have had more water available.
Right, it definitely creates a complication for us, and we realized that 10 years ago, we still would have had to operate the way we did last week, right? So it's no different than when we would have had to operate.
You have a plan.
Yeah, we have a
Right.
plan, but now we see that there's a much easier plan right there.
Well, of course there is.
But we
For
can't use it.
$450,000 or whatever.
461.
Welcome to 2021.
Yeah.
And we are, since Kim takes such good notes, and that we are, the town is stepping up to order this so that we can cover situations like what you just discussed.
So we can cover the village.
And the
Are we
other
stepping up?
properties in the village that don't have hydrants at this point.
Does anybody else have the same piece of equipment? Any of the people that are cooperating with us?
a lot of people around us do. McFarland's got very similar size one, it's even the same manufacturer. Cambridge, Deerfield, Sun Prairie. We have, currently what we have is one of the largest tenders in the entire county with the smallest water pump in the entire county. So it's kind of a reverse thing because when it was built 25 years ago, we weren't using it the way that we're going to have to use it nowadays because of the fire load. So everybody else has been replacing their trucks, and this is the direction that the fire service is kind of heading. So it's very common nowadays. It's not this setup is very common nowadays as opposed to what we had is very rare now. So,
But you don't have a township that has one on their own. A township. You said McFarland and you're talking villages and cities.
Yeah, but they also cover townships.
Okay.
right. I don't know
So
how,
my question is, have the towns stepped up in the other places? You're talking about a village having
But they
it. and
have
the town's
contracts
stepping up.
for those surrounding
I
townships.
got it. I understand.
So they
I
need
don't
it
know
for those
how-
township contracts.
I guess
like
I
we
don't
would need
know
it
how
for
Deerfield
Pleasant
and
Springs.
Cambridge and McFarland organize their fire service because that's not our place. I don't know what their agreement is between the village of McFarland and the town of McFarland and the
Right.
town of Deerfield and the village of Deerfield. I don't know what the agreement looks like. All I can speak to is what we currently have with the village and the town of Cottage Grove, and
It's good to have this information out because you people are talking from being on the fire department for a long time, or not fire department, but on the committees and you being involved with them. The public here has also got to know why we're doing this. And I'm not against this. All I'm saying is that this information's got to be out in the community so people know what's going on. And having it in the notes puts it there. So if somebody comes up again and says, well, what the hell are you people doing? You can see the discussions that have, and the information that's come from these guys and the amount of, information, written information even, about why it should happen. That was it.
So Kim, do you want to read back the motion?
That should be good.
From your excellent notes.
Yeah, you got that all down?
It was motion by Williams and Anders to approve, but there wasn't any, I mean, approve the contract, but there wasn't any, I didn't plan on adding all the discussion into the motion, just as context. Unless you have specific words you want in it.
I think we want to make a note of the fact that the town is stepping up.
I think this should be in
I was
the,
gonna put that
And
in.
it's information from
that's fine with me.
that Nick has provided is really,
What it should say is the village should have also stepped up.
That's political.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
oh yeah. And I want to say how much I appreciate the extra information that you have given us, Nick, about, because I certainly didn't realize that houses today are built very differently with a lot of glue and that they burn so much faster. I mean, that's the reason right there why we have to be prepared.
A lot of vinyl.
So, yeah.
If there's no other discussion, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. So do I sign it and give it to you or?
Yeah, you can do it that way and I'll send it off to them or get it taken care of. Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Little more stuff. How do we handle then if there's, something happens in the village?
Some smoke maker.
But I'm saying, do they pay for us to do anything with this piece of equipment in the village?
No.
They don't. Well, they got her made.
You got
Just
it.
like when we use the ladder, they don't charge us.
Paid for
But
the.
I know we own
Well,
part of it.
yeah, that's a different ballgame. That's totally different, you know?
We've got
What
skin in
next?
the game.
What next?
Moving on. Discuss and consider appointees to the steering committee for the National Hazard Plan update. And you got what we had from Dane County on their plan. I believe we want to appoint the Emergency Government Committee plus our clerk.
And Dan, yeah, and Dan.
Highway Superintendent.
And I think we can, you know, anybody that wants to be involved or come to watch a Zoom or whatever, that's great, you know, but
Are they all gonna be Zoom?
yeah,
Sound like they were all going to be.
yeah, not impressed so far. That's it.
And then
Now we're gonna talk in this next class about equity. I'm going, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Fighting the fire or something. But I guess that's the way it is. I'd make that motion that that be done, as you stated.
Second.
motion by Fogger, second by Duplay to appoint the Emergency Government Committee along with the clerk and the highway superintendent for the steering committee. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Then we go to discuss and consider attendees to the Wisconsin Towns Association Convention on October 10th through the 12th. It was tabled in July. Is anybody wanting to attend?
I'd like to go on Monday, but that's the only day I won't go.
If you go, I might be interested in going to the banquet. If you go to the banquet, you have to register for the day. I was trying to figure that out when I was looking at the book, because the banquet's a separate fee.
I wouldn't think it would.
I wouldn't think so either. I might. I'm not committing to it yet, but might be interested in that.
I mean, they have it under the single day and or the full convention registration, so one way or another, you're going to. A non-registered spouse or guest must purchase a banquet ticket for the $35.
Well, it
So
should
I
be fine.
suppose you could
That's this week, so it should be fine.
Just,
buy just
just
the
the
$35
$35 ticket. That's what I
banquet ticket.
thought. If I have a reason to go.
If you know, then I go.
Yes.
Free lunch.
So we don't have to decide that right now, do we?
What's the
No.
deadline? I don't have that page with me here. What's the deadline to send that in?
Tuesday, September 21st.
So really,
Please
we only
return
have one
registration
person
form.
that wants to actually attend any of the seminars. Mike wants to go on Monday.
Yep. And we may have 2 for the banquet.
Well, then you guys decide that, I guess, and we'll do the check for the last meeting before the deadline.
Right, that'd be the
That's the
20th.
20th.
The 20th would be the night before, so.
Well, we can approve that now though, right?
Well, actually, we can probably, usually we can pay those online too. We'll just have to know so that we can get that approved by the board that night so we can pay it in time.
Okay.
So
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Fonger, second by DePlay to allow 1 person for the Monday meeting and up to 2 people for the banquet. All to be decided by the 20th, for sure. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Public Works Department activity update.
Well, you heard a lot of it already. Seal coat's done. They finished up today. They started road work in Bone Sack and to the east side of town. Janelle cul-de-sac, they are gonna do some touching up tomorrow. Houston's gonna do that, and paving will start Wednesday.
Did you do a last test roll
Yeah,
and it passed?
yeah.
Okay.
So
Did you get the rip wrapping down?
riprap's done, all the retaining walls are all done. They just gotta put a little gravel in one spot and then they gotta do a little dirt edging before the guardrail and everything can go in.
Okay.
How's that favorite Parker doing?
Oh, good.
Good.
He's using his driveway and his garage.
Hmm.
So looks like they cleaned the garage up. Other than that, we've had a little more storm damage and stuff again. We had a big limb go down in Liberty Cemetery way out. It looks like it broke one of the stones. I talked to
Kevin?
yeah, what's his name?
Shelley?
Today, yeah, he was out there. And we set it up the best we could, but yeah, it's an old stone. I mean, you can barely read it anymore. It's been washed so much, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bad to see that when it happens, but. And then we made a little agreement. We're gonna help him trim up that tree line to the west.
Okay.
Again, we did it probably 7 years ago. I think it was the first or second year I was here. So yeah, we're gonna do a little more of that. So we're actually gonna tear out that fence too. He's gonna help us. And then we can mow right to his field like we do on the other side, make it look nice and neat.
Okay.
And yeah, other than that, not a whole lot. I'll give you a little insight. I talked to Wade today. Well, Friday I talked to him and I talked to him again today from Houston. And he said that will be open by Friday.
The road.
BB.
just with signs though, right?
Yeah, with stop signs. Yep. They're gonna put up stop signs. They're gonna have.
Is it gonna be a 3-way stop then?
It's gonna be a 4-way. Yeah, but there'll be no
Well,
traffic.
your other thing.
Besides
Oh,
construction equipment.
They've been cutting trees for a week and a half.
But
and they
there's
were
no
all-
road, I
yeah,
guess.
Well, they'll have.
Saturday morning.
They'll
they
still,
were
I think there'll still be a sign because they'll still have construction equipment coming in and out.
They're gonna
So,
start.
Yeah.
They were out there 7 o'clock, that the village would allow them to be doing cutting at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
It's absolutely ridiculous.
they're already cutting roads in.
It's just absolutely crazy. Cut all the trees down.
Is Houston doing that? or-
Yeah.
No, well, I don't know whose
Yep.
contract, but it's a massive saw.
Yeah, it's Houston's John Deere, their yarder, yeah. Yep.
Micah, the old, he used to be on the village board, you know, and he is not.
Yeah, I bet he is.
Micah Zilka. He used to be on the village board.
Village board, then he moved out into the township
Mhm.
where the same people live.
Very happy.
I just told him I'm getting a lot of questions on it and a lot of people have been asking me. So I just thought I'd ask him today and he said, yeah, Friday is their plan right now,
Looks great.
open with signs.
Okay.
That's all I got.
And get another stop sign for people to ignore.
Clerk's office update.
Just a couple of things. I think you remember that we were talking to Charter Spectrum about a proposal of what it would take to get internet basically staged out on North Star, poised ready for new businesses. So Chris and I had a Zoom meeting with them, or one of those kind of meetings anyway. The price they gave us, bottom line, was $359,903.
Whoa.
That takes it out to, I don't know if you can see this, but this is North Star Road in the middle. The ones in red are two current preliminary proposals we have about commercial development. And then up here would be like Banavets and Capitol Underground. So they're proposing to put a pedestal in there, and then it would be up to all of the different landowners or to hook in. We also asked Attorney Cole about special assessing that, and he said you can use special assessment authority. Note you would assess the property owner, which may be different from the business owner. Note also that you can only assess properties that are benefited, and the amount must be based on a reasonable basis. I raise this because it is the benefit to the property, not the business, that matters. Presumably, there will be properties that are currently vacant that would not use the fiber, but will be benefited in the sense that they will be more valuable having access to fiber. As with all special assessments, you will need your public works director or engineer to prepare a report identifying the properties benefited from the project and a formula for allocating the cost among those properties on a reasonable basis. So then when we were talking to them, I asked, this project that you heard about earlier this evening, how would that affect it? Would that bring fiber any closer to this to reduce how far they were coming from, you know? And he said, I mean, he seemed to think it probably would, but at this time they don't have any idea how much it would change it. So I don't know what you think, but I think maybe that's a lot of money to spend if you might not have to spend all of it after the rest of this fills in.
Yeah.
From what they're doing, but you can, so
Yeah.
you know what it is.
Yeah, waiting to see how close it might get with this RDOF.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it right now, you've probably got 1, 2, 3, basically four landowners that want to develop, and then you got some in there that don't even show any signs of wanting to develop. And how are you going to divide this among that $350 some thousand and try to get them to swallow that?
And can't these businesses use satellite?
Yeah, there are other options.
Why would we do this?
Because the satellite isn't that reliable.
More
It isn't?
reliable.
No.
This would probably be quite appealing for them, but at what cost, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that. You can think about it. I'll email this whole thing to all of you so you can look through it. And if somebody wanted to put it on agenda, they'd have to tell Chris, of course. I also got notice today that redistricting started today. The process is that the county draws their supervisor lines first, and then once they're done doing that, we draw our ward lines.
Yeah, you get 3 weeks to do that.
Which won't take any time at all, and it won't take the county any either. I'm gonna pass this around. This is our current ward plan, and I just want you to look at it and think about if you think that this more or less still makes sense, or if you have any input, you can get to me. Once it makes its way around, I'll show you that currently we have we have 7 wards. Currently, we have one little property that the Village of Cottage Grove bought on Vilas Road that is its own ward, but this doesn't reflect that. This already has it combined. But anyway, our divisions are, it's more or less quadrants divided by Highway N and the bike trail, except that in the northwest quadrant, it's further divided. Each ward can only have 1,000 residents in it. And so if you look down at the bottom, you can see what the populations are in the current wards. And I'm thinking that this still makes pretty good sense because it's easy to say, do you live north or south of the bike trail, or do you live east or west of Highway N? And most people will be able to tell you that. Some need you to say left or right, however. But anyway.
Is 4, will that be our only problem one?
That's what I was gonna say. 4 could potentially be a problem in the near future with Kennedy Hills going in there. And so I was gonna ask you to think about maybe a logical division for that. I was thinking maybe Baxter Road.
Yeah.
Split it at Baxter Road. I was thinking about that.
Put that with 5?
Well, you could put it with 5, if we could see where that population came out. Yeah, or you could create another one.
Yeah.
But the more you create, I don't know if this is true or not, but when the state starts drawing their lines, they can't split wards. So the more wards you have, the more chance you have that they're going to divide up the town and send some wards to one district and some to the other. So I think you want to keep as few wards as you can get.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of combining either 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, because those are all smaller, and I don't really see a logical reason why they should be divided. 2 is separated from 3 by Cottage Grove Road, and 1 is separated from 2 by Bus Road. So I don't know.
I could see 2 and 3 going together.
Yeah.
Like you say.
That makes it a little more equitable with the others.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get this in front of you, and if you have any strong opinions one way or the other, you're going to have to approve the ward plan in the end anyway. But that's kind of my thoughts. And I will look at what it would take if we combined everything west or east of Baxter Road from 4 into 5 and see what kind of population that puts into 5.
So when do we have to approve that? Would that be at our first meeting in November?
Depends on how fast it goes. So the county could get done tomorrow, and then I'd be up. And then I got, whatever, how many days it is. And so then it could be sooner than that.
Yeah.
If we can draw our lines and be done with it, we can be done with it. And we don't have to use the full 60 days.
Okay.
And hopefully the county won't either. The county clerk is really wanting to fast track it to make sure that it gets done, because this is all delayed. This was supposed to start April 1st.
Census.
And so it's already delayed. And so if we all follow our statutorily allotted timeframes, the whole thing is going to be delayed. But if everybody gets moving, maybe it won't be that far behind.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Sure.
I just wanted to get that in front of you.
So how about area 6? That's going to be over 1,000 pretty soon, isn't it? You don't think so, or?
I mean, I think 6 might be more likely to go down because of annexations than it is to go up. We don't really have any big plans to develop anything down there.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I suppose if that Whitty subdivision went in, you could get a few houses in there. But we've already stand to lose some of that as soon as the Wyden one goes through.
Mm.
That's
true.
That's all but approved. So
yeah,
yeah, you're right. That's the other one that, you could think about further dividing, but I'm not as worried about that as I am 4.
so we go down like 1.
Go to 5 rather.
We go to
than
5
6.
rather than 6, huh?
Yeah, because right now we have 7, but 7 has no population and 1 property in it. It's just a crazy thing that got thrown in there after.
Where's 7?
It
Way
doesn't,
up at the top. and
it's
then-
not.
Oh, that
shown
little.
here.
Oh, I thought that was part of non-contiguous on 4.
4 has a non-contiguous, there's 7 people in that little block that doesn't touch any of the rest of the town anymore because of the way the village annexed around it. So it's non-contiguous. There's nothing we can really do about that. I mean, we can't make it contiguous.
But it's in 4.
It's in 4.
Yeah. And then what's the one in the?
The one in 6 it has to do with the McFarland annexation. See the very bottom corner?
Yeah.
There's a tiny little triangle that we still have. Again, we're not going to be able to do anything about that. And there's no population in that one either.
No.
Oh, really? There's
In that-
no
In
population?
that block,
No,
I
there's a
don't think
farm.
so.
In there, nobody there.
I
Okay.
think that's a zero.
Lisa Lightfoot's
Yeah.
business.
No, it's not even that. It's
No,
that
it's
little tiny corner at the
Yeah.
very bottom corner of the map.
Hmm.
Like this little thing right here.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah. There was
Yeah.
a little,
I never realized we had that island there either.
Crazy.
Yeah,
This is interesting, though.
so I don't want to create it anymore. If we
No.
don't have to, just juggle things around a little bit.
Yeah.
Combining 2 and 3 does look like a good
Yeah,
help
yeah.
to reduce your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So then I guess, I don't know if we'll have to renumber. Everybody will have a different ward number because we'll renumber counterclockwise or
Yeah.
the way it is now, but I don't think anybody will care.
No.
with some good information, I can use that on my equity thing for hazard mitigation on Wednesday.
There
Yep.
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
I
welcome.
feel so good.
Wow.
Now, got all this stuff. They give it to us and then we give it back to them.
Board reports and communications. Had email late this afternoon. Ed Minahan, the chair for Dunn, passed away on the 5th, and he served on the MPO. So they're looking for nominations to fill his seat on the MPO. You have to be an elected official, and you have to live within the boundaries of the MPO,
MPO.
Metropolitan Planning.
Oh,
For highways and stuff.
Yeah, roads.
I had a brief 10-second discussion with Chris and Christie about this, the MPO in particular. Instead of being this organization that strictly looks out for everybody equally, they are actually considering if you don't contribute to them and you have an application, you get shoved to the back. You have to pay to play. And which to me just doesn't sit correctly because of the fact that, they came to us or actually came to all of the municipalities and towns saying that, hey, if you give us some money, the feds will match that and give us actually more money. And which,
How'd that work?
and we agreed to give them some, if I recall correctly, right?
We talked about it at budget time.
Yeah. And anyway, but for those municipalities who choose not to go ahead and contribute, and there are villages who are saying no. Verona, for one, is saying no because of the fact of budget constraints and so on and so forth, that the MPO is actually publicly talking about pay to play. If you do not pay your full share or your portion of a share, you won't get the same consideration as somebody who would pay the full share, which to me is total politics. And that shouldn't be the way it works. So that's all I have to say.
So if somebody wants to be nominated, let me know. I did talk to Uphoff about his sign on West Ridge for land for sale and asked him what was going on, and told me that he may or may not sell it. He had no interest in it. He had a realtor that had been pestering him for years to list it, and so he did.
For what purpose?
Development in the village.
Oh,
Is this, this is the land that he bought from
Schultz.
the Schultz farm?
Yeah,
Really?
it's already in the village and has urban service area. And Uphoff doesn't have any plans on developing it, but some realtors pestered him enough that saying that he could sell it. And I think they're asking like $7 million for the whole piece.
Yeah, 8 million, yep.
But it's attached to the village.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
in the village.
it's in the village.
Well, what's that got to do with us then, really? What could we do about anything?
Just information.
Oh, I would have expected that sooner than later.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
unless you want to buy it and try and put a dog park
Could
in
you
there.
believe $7 million?
Well,
How
since
much
we're
then?
thinking about farmland that's for sale, the 16-acre farm where they have horses next to us is for sale.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
For where?
It's close to us. It's on Hope Road, but it joins our subdivision.
Oh, yeah.
Is that one of the horses?
Yeah.
Rogan's.
There's that many acres there?
16, yes.
Must be.
It was the Gus farm before they bought it.
Really? No kidding me.
And
About a marsh in it?
they're asking over.
None.
No, I don't think so.
Like $1 million.
No marsh.
One or
No
something.
marsh?
No, it's a
No,
nice
it's-
piece of
it's-
property.
It's
I
a
think.
very nice piece of property.
It's got a, 10-acre farm field that's farmable.
Yeah.
Does anybody know anything about that chunk just west of the cemetery that's for sale?
With some.
Oh, and BB.
Yeah. Side's been up for quite a while.
Yeah.
On north side of BB, just west of the cemetery.
Memorial Gardens.
Right behind those little houses there.
Oh.
Bob's house.
Right by the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that farm field there.
Does anyone know if the Funkhauser farm sold? That was on County AB next to the railroad track. There was a sign for sale last fall. I took a picture of it and then I went to the website. 3.5 million.
By the railroad tracks.
On County AB, close to that church, that white church.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, on
Okay.
AB Buckeye Road.
which is in, that's not in
City Madison.
City Madison, yeah.
Madison, yeah.
Oh, I know where it's at.
There's more land than for sale
Yeah,
there
they flood.
too.
When the animals died in the field.
Yeah.
Across the street.
Committee reports, emergency government.
I think I've said enough. I'm not emergency government.
You're on
I will
top.
have more to say.
You're on top of it.
Yes. My deputy or my clerk, who was one of the outstanding people, has decided she is going to do a lot of work on this. Didn't you say that?
Oh, sure.
We've got Fridays off for the rest of the summer now.
If anybody, we are gonna have it here Zoomed, her and I, and Otto are gonna be here. If anybody else would like to come down
I'm coming
Two.
down at 2.
and see what this is about. They have a girl, Sarah is her name, and then it in quotes after,
She's from
she, her, what was it? She, her, in parentheses, to identify her as, I guess, a she.
They or them.
I guess that's the way it is, and she is a doctor, going for her doctorate at UW, so they're using her for a lot of the information here. She's a very nice person, seems to know what she's doing, so. She does a lot of the legwork, I think, for what this is about.
Said that she put a lot of that information together that came from the census.
Yeah, and if you look pretty much at what we already have from work from our trusted clerk there and a few other people, it's basically, we've already got a lot of the information already. Same forms, a lot of them, and the only thing that would change anything would be the census. And I think we did get to 4 pages or?
That's from the American Community Survey that they do, in between the census. But yeah, that was from 19, I think, 2019.
Yeah, so we'll get the information,
We've got that.
yeah, and then we'll just turn it around and put it in our little
You're
report,
just
just for
gonna-
information.
Basically, so that they're working on these webinars that they're having now are more or less background
Yeah.
information. And then you'll get into the nuts and bolts of, what are the hazards that we could have, which we've already identified
Already listed.
in the past, but you'll have to evaluate whether any of those are more or less likely now, and then reevaluate what your plans to address them would be if they happen.
It's about having this great plan so we can go ahead to the state, and then the state can go to the federal government and say, hey, look at our plan. Boy, we need money for this plan. That's so good.
But no politics.
America.
Well, I mean, if they're
No
gonna
politics,
give
no.
you money someday when it all falls apart because you did this, it's probably, well, you'll be glad you did it.
Yeah, well, probably so, yeah.
Because they were looking, what, in March of 22, that we would have to adopt that mitigation
Yeah.
plan.
Right, but it's gotta be, our part has to be done earlier there than that, and then it gets sent up to the state to
Yeah.
put their blessing on it.
And I think
Dane
with our,
County emergency.
Dane County and the state, yeah.
when our part is done, we should probably put it on the internet and so people can come in and really look at it and see what they.
Well, we do have to have a public hearing.
Yeah, we would have, which, you know, how many are we gonna get for that?
But yeah, you're right, that, we can put it on.
We could put it on there where people can go and look and see what we are.
Do you want the town board to review any of that information before you send it in?
Oh, God, yeah. I think we'd want to look at it.
Yeah.
So you'll have to
To look at it.
let us know when we should
Yeah.
put something on the agenda.
Yeah.
So, okay. Next item then. Consider adopt a motion to move into closed session for Wisconsin Stat 19.85, parent 1, parent E, for deliberation, negotiation, or conducting specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session boundary agreement negotiation.
So move.
Second. Motion by Williams, second by Anders to go into closed session. Fonger, Anders. Hampton, aye. Williams.
Aye.
Fonger.
Longer.
Or, you play.
Don't.
It was another
saying
mic.
that.
Yeah, watch it.
Watch it, mister.
It was another mic.
Oh, you screwed up there. Think that.
And not only does he
Going
insult
closed
you,
session.
he insults me as well.
Have a good night. Forgive me.
Oh.
Yeah.